ladies and gents, in Cyberland. Back with another playthrough, walkthrough, whatever you want to call it, for Arkham Origins. Let's get to it. I don't know how I ended up on this roof, because this is not what the last place I left off of, but there, or the warehouse or penguin stuff was actually right below right here. Yep, that's where it was. Okay, so it wasn't too far. Alright, well, that's done. So, not gonna worry about Enigma right now. But, oh man, I remember those. Those were such a pain in the ass. I'm not doing that. Not right now. I'm not doing no mission objectives. Unless it's gonna add something to my abilities. I'm not doing it. Because those things, they make you be a better player. I'm not gonna say they don't, but once you've played this game already, doing those are just really, really tedious. But then some people, I guess, they might enjoy it. I don't. Because especially if you don't do it on the first try, then you gotta keep doing it. It's just like, man, I don't want to do this. Considering the fact that I pretty much know what I'm doing. As you can see, I'm just gliding through the air. Go up there again? I don't know if I can. They let you up. Stay. Oh.
Available homicide unit, please respond to 187 in the Bowery. Officers on scene report victim appears to have fallen from a nearby building.
Oh no, it's him!
It's midnight, sir. I just wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas. You too.
I've been waiting to punch someone all day! They'll tear you to pieces! This is the
Thank you.
Why do you think Penguin's giving out guns like this? It don't make a ton of sense. At first, I thought he was looking to take down Sionis, win us over to his side with weapons, you know? But I'm starting to think this is actually about the bag. Because of what happened at the final offer. Yeah, I mean, guys gotta be pissed about all this place trashed. Batman made him look weak, real weak. Yeah, well, whatever the reason, we should head over to Sean Park, pick up some pieces for ourselves. I just want to keep my head down, get paid, and then buy a ticket rate things are going tonight. Ain't gonna be nothing left to
Oh, it's probably down below. Okay. Oh yeah, I remember this. Come back here into Arkham, and this has got a big giant hole in it. Oh man, all this was torn up and stuff. Yep. It's like they just gave up kind of thing. They just said, you know what, just let the animals have it kind of thing. They just, you know, it's kind of like Gotham looks the way it does because the people just don't care. It's not even a fact of there's no money. There's plenty of money in Gotham, but it's almost just like the people just don't care. And it's like, well, if I ain't got to live there, then let it go, let it fall apart. Now, these were all, and you could already see it's already starting to decay. Closed due to storm, but it's like the storm didn't make it start looking this bad. It was the people that just stopped caring about it. I'm definitely going to bring this up again when I start playing the other Arkham games, and just to point it out, like, it's just, that was the one thing I really liked about this game, is the fact that you get to see what it looked, what it was before it became what it is. I always thought that was really cool. So it didn't just start out that way. And the good thing about playing games like these is that, especially when you have creators do that, it gives people an assurance that this doesn't fall too far from reality. Ghettos just don't become ghettos. Like, it takes, I don't have money to keep the place up, but also the mindset of the people that move in there. They don't care, you know? They don't really have, their attitude is like, well, whatever. If it's gonna look like trash, it's gonna look like trash kind of thing. Don't attack me, dude. I'm not in the mood. Like, just don't. Okay.
Get off your ass and get over there! I'm retiring from crime!
It's like these guys see me, and they're like, we can take them. Like, had bigger foes than that, and they can't take me. What makes you so different? So. Yeah, it's just like the mindset of people to where it starts to look this bad. We haven't even gotten into full-fledged psychotics yet, like villains. Okay, Mad Hatter's coming in. We got Black Mask, or somebody calling themselves Black Mask, if you want to do it that way. We have a rumor of Joker. Two-Face ain't even here yet. Clayface, Poison Ivy, Scarecrow. And even if they do appear in here, I forget which ones did appear, but it's kind of like you haven't seen nothing yet kind of thing. And what people also forget is that Gotham created not only Batman, but it created the villains. People always like to say, well, if Batman hadn't showed up. I'm like, no, Batman, it's almost like almost all the villains are kind of around the same age as Batman, whereas his traumatic experience caused him to make sure it didn't happen to anybody else. But the trauma of all the other villains, it's kind of like those people he couldn't save because they had that same trauma happen to them around the same age as him. Because remember, in here, I don't know if it was that in the comics. I forget about the history of Penguin. But in here, they mentioned that Penguin and Bruce grew up together, kind of. I don't know if they were friends like that, but Penguin went to the same school as Bruce, and he was treated pretty bad because of his stature and how he looked, And that abuse was one of the reasons to culminate him to become a gangster, because his attitude was like, well, my family doesn't care for me, nobody respects me, and the only way to get respect in the city is to pretty much take it or victimize others to get respect. And that's the route he went. And you can kind of say that Gotham, one thing that makes Gotham City so interesting for in comics in general, as opposed to Metropolis or even what's that other place? Spider-Man's home, New York, is that with Gotham, Gotham is technically the architect of everything that happens in it. The mindset. Because you have good people, you have bad people, yes. But Gotham creates the mindset of the people in Gotham create these villains. And all these villains, each one of them's had a very traumatic experience. I don't know if Edward Nash, because that's really, I believe that's his real name, not Enigma, but he changed it. I don't know if he would be that case, but when you think about Poison Ivy, think about Two-Face, think about, I don't even know Clayface, but you think about Mr. Freeze, the Ventriloquist, Penguin, Scarecrow, and not Hush. Hush is also an exception to it. But you look at that, it's kind of the thing of these people are the way they are because not only did they fall through the cracks, but it's almost like nobody gave a damn anyway. So that's the thing about the Joker film that came out. It's that it's a good way how they did about describing Joker, but that applies to Poison Ivy. That applies to Harvey Two-Face. That applies to Penguin too. Each one of these people fell through the cracks. They didn't get the help when they were supposed to get it, and it manifested, and it just got worse. And then this is how you get Arkham. And this is how, because people always People say, well, Batman came first, and then that's when you got the villains. I'm like, no, the villains and Batman are around the same age. So it's just the difference is the way he took that, way he felt, and how he tried to turn and take it into a positive to an extent. And then the same thing could be said for the people that worked with him. You know, Dick, Jason, Tim, especially Tim especially, and then to some extent Barbara, but Barbara already, had she had her dad already, so she just I think with Barbara she felt she could do a lot more by being working with Bruce to a different extent. But I don't believe Barbara suffered any traumatic experience. I mean, later she does, and that's why she becomes Oracle. But as far as what Dick and Jason, and even Jason didn't suffer that much either. But what Dick and Tim suffered, Tim I think suffered the most from what I recall with reading the comics with him. Even Cassandra, to an extent. You know, you could say that, but that's suffrage, and I think that's why Bruce probably did take all of them on, is because he knew what was going to happen, what the city would turn them into if he didn't step in, and that's the commendable thing, because comics they always say like, well, Bruce just likes to have soldiers and stuff, and it's like, well, technically it's better to have a soldier that's going to protect others and to have that person who could have became a soldier turn into a criminal and start to victimize others, which is what we get with the villains. And then, as we have Bruce training Dick to become Robin, eventually he becomes Nightwing. We have Jason, who eventually becomes Robin, and then of course meets an unfortunate demise, and eventually at some point within the last 10 years, it was almost 15 now because it's been a while, comes back as a grown and becomes the Red Hood. We have Tim, who witnesses his mother's death, and then still has his father, but has to find a way to channel that loss, and eventually becomes the next ward for Bruce as Robin. And then eventually we also have Damian. Except Damian, I don't care for Damian. People always want to say Damian's this and that. I'm just not a fan of Damian Wayne. To me, I just get this mindset that he is just a Jason Todd ripoff. I've never cared for that character. But it's just don't care for him. I don't like anything about him. He's not interesting to me. I understand why they created him and stuff. I just never cared for the character. I mean, maybe, and in order for me to like him, they would have to change so many things about him, and I don't even think that's worth it. But people say, well, that's supposed to be the next Batman because he's Bruce's son. I'm like, man, whatever with that. Give the mantle to Dick. That's the only person, in my opinion, at this point that should be taking on the mantle. He's done it before, but that's really the next person in line to do the job. So that's to take on that. But yeah, the point is, you look at the city and you look at what has happened to it, and what's happened to a lot of the people in it. It's one of those things where it's just they're not villains that just became villains. It took a lot to drive them to that point. It wasn't like a one thing that happened overnight. Even Bane, to an extent, had some type of abuse, but of course his wasn't Gotham either. But and then Catwoman too. Even Catwoman had some type of abuse and had some type of rough upbringing. But I think with Catwoman compared to the other villains, because she has been a villain and then became anti-hero and all that good stuff. I think with her, I think with Catwoman, she will not. Um, she's a type of villain that I don't think she would harm certain people. She does have limits. Same thing could be said for maybe what's her name? Shiva? If I no, I forget her name. I say the same thing could be said for another. Um, red, not Red Claw. I think it is Shiva. I think she'd be an exception. Talia used to think the same thing about her until at one point she allowed her son to be murdered. And right in front of her, that's when you can kind of see that she, no matter how she feels about it, that's, you know, your kids are going to disappoint you. But for her to be okay with that and to allow that set, that's really what says a lot about her. Because I don't think even Raj would take it that far. I don't think he would murder his daughter. But then again, I haven't read that much Raj Al Ghul lore with Batman, so
We're in trouble.
who's to say that he wouldn't either? That's also a thought that he might be willing to do that if needs came for it. So I'm not interested in you guys right now. Excuse me.
Get off your asses and get over there.
You guys are just chasing me down. I don't want to play with you right now.
Rearrange your face.
Okay, fine. Let's play.
Kick his teeth in. Shoot. Check that out. Get up.
Damn it.
Let's get in on that fight. Drop this beauty.
All units, if you are 1010, please report in for potential assignment.
So, anyway. And rumor is they're going to be making another Arkham game. Not that I have a problem with it. But I do think, where are you going with this? They're saying it may be before, maybe it will be before the Arkham games, or it may not be called the Arkham game. It might be called something else, which is fine. I would just hope you'd make it to where you can play as Tim or Dick. I really don't care if you have Catwoman. Or I thought Catwoman was cool, but Batgirl's like, yeah, whatever. I don't really care. or even have Jason. You know, I'd love to see those three in there: Dick, Tim, and Jason. Their fighting styles would be very interesting, especially Dick and Jason and Tim. Since whoops, wrong one. Since technically Tim is not the best fighter. Jason is the best fighter. Sorry. Dick is the best fighter, so it would be interesting to see him actually have part of the story. But then, how they did Arkham, Arkham Knight was pretty good with that too. So I have no complaints there. So it'd be interesting to see where they're trying to go with this. Maybe have it to where
I've been flipping through the
you
precinct
have
and
Dick in his own
well,
city,
let's
Bloodhaven,
say you don't have a lot of fans
and
here, but
then you'd
you
have Tim
probably
in
knew it
Gotham,
already.
but maybe have Tim
Anyway,
when
I've
he was in
tracked some
high
of the
school
more
still,
ridiculous stuff.
handling his own
I mean,
functions.
they're saying you can't
And
and I know that's not
I don't know how you would incorporate Jason though, because technically when Tim was in high school, Jason was dead. So that would be interesting. Or maybe you can do a storyline of Arkham with the Robins. You know? Well, I don't know, because technically the time frame. I think the time frame for Arkham Origins is 5 years before Asylum, but then technically maybe it's way before that because you bring in Dick, he's already an adult, and it's already been established he was Robin, so it's and then Jason Todd. So it's like if you're gonna do something with them, if you're gonna try to do a story, you should probably do it in sections, like have one arc that deals with Dick as Robin, and then towards the end maybe have it to where he becomes Nightwing, and then do another game where you bring in Jason, do an arc like that, and then you do another game where you bring in what's his name, Tim. Like technically do 3 games. One that deals with Dick, one that deals with Jason, and one that deals with Tim. I know some people are like, yeah, that's too much. But I'm like, well, technically, if you want to do those story segments, why not? Have it to where he has Robin as Dick when he was a kid. That would be pretty good to do. And do a training segment to where you have Robin or Dick training to become Robin, what he has to learn. So you have a segment where there's no point in. I mean, they could do one about training as Batman, but at this point, it's like, is it really that necessary? Only because you played as him so much. But it would be cool to do a training segment of Dick, like do a game where it's about Dick with his relationship with Bruce, and then make the game to where it doesn't be like, well, we're gonna do multiple games of Dick Grayson as Robin and then Nightwing. Just make one game to where it's after Origins, but it's way before Asylum, and have 3 games that are after Origins but before Asylum, and you get a better understanding of the villains and a better understanding of those characters. That I'm pretty sure they could. That would be pretty cool. I would. That would keep me. I would like to see that. So you train with Dick, and then you train with Jason, and then you have a game where you train with Tim, and it would be good because it would give people a better understanding of those characters, as well as what were the differences between the two, because you never really in the games, at least, it's not seen or talked about. Because some people like Jason more than Dick or Tim. I personally don't. And it's not just because he was killed. It was also because when you look at the mindset of all 3, you start to see Jason had way too many faults. And that's not just because the writers made him that way. Because, of course, they were trying to go for a different approach. But he had a lot of faults. He had a lot of things that Bruce was not paying attention to that should have. That's where he failed at, which is also why Tim was the worst trained, had the worst training when it came to becoming Robin. Like Dick had a certain type of training, but Tim had the worst. Like I mean, full fledged. Like Bruce put him through the worst type of training that he could to almost make it to where to see how bad did Tim want to be his ward when it came to that. Like he made him do just ridiculous stuff that would be outlandish for somebody, but also Bruce's mindset is that look, you know, these guys are playing for keeps. They will not hesitate to kill. Um, Joker knew that Robin was a kid, and he had no problem killing him. And you know, so Bruce had to encompass that to get Tim to understand. You want this? Okay, I'm gonna give it to you, but you got something that's going to come. You know, there's a careful what you wish for kind of thing.
What kind of... You gotta stop that guy! Beat us up!
Kind of say that's what Tim got. Even one more level and I can finally use that. Ain't nothing new. But I need that ability to disarm, destroy. I really need that ability. It's one of the best things to have, so when people have weapons, you can completely make it to where they can no longer use it on you. So I would like to use that. That'd be interesting. Hopefully, if that's the route they go, I would like to see more than one game doing that. If they go that, because I'm not saying I want to play as Batman anymore. It's fun to play as Batman, but if the talk is to bring in the rest of the Bat family, as they call it, well, you might as well do an origin story with Dick and then an origin story with Jason, because you brought those characters in. You might as well do the backstory of what led them to what they became. So what led Dick to become Nightwing? What led Jason to his death? What led Tim to become Robin? All those kinds of things. You know, might as well bring that into the fold. And you of course can do. I don't know if it's necessary to do Batgirl, and I only say because she's already been in. She's already in Origins, so you're already getting her. You're already getting her mindset or where she's coming from. And of course, around this time, you should have Dick coming in. But then again, how are you going to do that? Because Barbara looking at her age, how old is she? How old is Dick? How are you? You know, it's all those things to consider.
You're aware you've no reason to be here, right?
All those things. How would you like to proceed with that? We'll just have to wait and see. Some people are, Some people are skeptic. Some people are not opposed to it. Yeah. I honestly don't really have. I like all the Arkham games, so adding another one to the floor, I'm okay with that. Just as long as you have a good story and you do the characters justice, then I don't have a problem. It's just like if you start taking liberties with Dick or Tim or Jason, or not even including them, I'm just gonna be kind of like, okay, like I already played Arkham Origins. Don't really need to have a fifth Batman game where it's just Batman gameplay and that's it. Should really incorporate somebody else into the story, like they did with Arkham Knight and what they did with Arkham City. So that would be cool. Just have to wait and see. See if I can get to Hatter this way. 'Cause, Can't get in. What did I do to get to Hatter? There it is. There's the door. That wasn't smart. You should have just left me be. Alright, here we go. Let's deal with Mr. Mad Hatter. Honestly, I'd rather deal with Joker than deal with this guy, because at least Joker makes jokes and stuff. And he's nuts too, but Hatter's just like, so, ooh, Alice, this is, Alice like, shut up.
Of course. Oh, this is madness. not as well as you should. But it's a start. That's always been a sucker, hasn't it? No one ever wanted to hear what Jervis had to say. He might as well have been invisible. But now? Oh, now you'll have to pay attention. Because you won't have a choice. We're going to have company. I do hope Alice is settling in on.
Jarvis.
You came. How wonderful. It really is an honor to make your...
Where's the girl?
Whatever do you mean?
Alice.
Excellent. And you know why you're here.
What are you talking about?
Oh, perhaps we don't see eye to eye after all. Let me remedy that. Tick-tock. Watch the clock.
What did you do?
Welcome to Wonderland, Batman. Oh, it's where I first met Alice. You know? Oh, what grand adventures we had. But then they took her from me. Wasn't Alice? Lost and alone. I had to find her. Had to bring her home, and so I did. It was quite the journey, let me tell you. But she's here again, safe with me. Still, forces of the Queen are everywhere, conspiring to reclaim her, which is why I brought you here. Who better to protect Alice than the Batman himself?
This guy's just whoa.
Oh dear, it seems you've gotten yourself all turned around. Which way's in, which way's out? Oh dear, what is my route? You're close! Just not close enough. Look at you running in circles. Just remember, left is right and up is down. Or what's it? Right is down and left is up. Oh. You're close! Just not close enough. Look at you running in circles. Just remember, left is right and up is down. Or what's it? Right is down and left is up. Oh. You're close! Just not close enough. Look at you running in circles. Just remember, left is right and up is down. Or what's it? Right is down and left is up. Oh. You're close! Just not close enough. Look at you running in circles. Just remember, left is right and up is down. Or what's it? Right is down and left is up. Oh. Look at you running in circles. Just remember, left is right and up is down. Or what's it? Right is down and left is up. Oh. Well, you figured it out. But it taxed you, didn't it? Drained a bit of that willpower of yours, Thoughts getting heavier? Finding it harder to maintain control? Soon that Careful now. It's not all flowers and tea parties down here. In fact, Wonderland's home to some rather nasty creatures. And it brings out the best and the worst in us. Don't worry, Alice is in very good hands. More tea, Alice.
Get away from me!
Oh my, it seems someone's forgotten her manners.
You're crazy.
Not crazy, Alice. Mad. There is a difference, you know. What it is, well, I can't remember. But you trust me on this. brought you down here? Well, see? I developed the most wonderful device. One that compels obedience. Now, with weaker minds, it works quite easily. Stick my creation on their heads, and just like that, they're under my control. A stronger
Well,
will
ladies and
individuals, however,
gents.
require a bit of, breaking in.
I will deal with Mr. Mad Hatter on the next one.
To the here and now. You are
Let's
my
have a good one.
Dumpty Batman. Your mind is shattered, and when I put the pieces back together, you'll be mine forever.